All right, we're back, guys, and we are going to talk about what? What are we talking about today, Barry?
The luxury market here on Lake Norman, North Carolina. It is the largest man-made lake in North Carolina. It is 32,000 acres, 32,500 acres, and stunning, beautiful homes on the lake. You know, professional players, NASCAR drivers, a lot of big wigs, CEOs, you know, that live on the lake. So we're here to talk to you about our experience with luxury properties and to tell you a little bit about the market trends.
Yeah, it's such a commodity. I mean, everybody wants to live on Lake Norman, right? If you have a budget for it.
Yes.
That's the key, is having a budget to live on Lake Norman. And luxury properties, I feel like they come in all shapes and sizes. You know, luxury is, you know, what people think it is to themselves, what they believe luxury is. So in my experience working on the lake, I find that there are people that have a budget and go into wanting a house that is a teardown or a remodel, and that's what their budget calls for, and they're going to make their own luxury. Or you have the buyers that are looking for turnkey, and they want to move into a house as beautiful as the one
this
we're
one.
sitting in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are some of the numbers, Barry, about, you know, on the lake?
The great thing about the lake, right, there's only a limited number of lots, and there's high demand. And so year over year over year, appreciation rates and prices continue to go up. Granted, the market's always going to have an impact. So it is going to slow down a little bit, but you talk about a safe spot to invest your money.
It's here.
It is here on Lake Norman.
Yeah.
And so with, you know, what you're saying, as far as, you know, whether you're buying an older home with the intent to do a heavy renovation, if you're going to do a tear down and rebuild because it's a beautiful lot, wide open water, you know, that investment, you're going to make money in the long run. On that property.
But there's a lot to know about buying a home on Lake Norman. A lot. I work with a lot of people coming from out of town that might live on the coast or on another lake that isn't managed by a huge entity like Duke Energy. And a lot of details come with that. A lot of knowledge that you have to have about buying a property on Lake Norman, and we'll probably do a whole episode
just
about
that.
But it's really, really important to you know, engage with a realtor that has sold property on the lake, because it could be a disaster if you do not. You know, some of the things that are important in luxury is, you know, where you are on the lake, what type of location. That's right. And I think that, you know, my clients, when we're looking on the lake, it's about the lake. You know, it's like Lake Norman. What does this property have an offer? Why am I moving here? And it's because of the water. It's because of that view. It's because of the dock. You know, and so those things are just key elements about waterfront property.
Do you think that people can look past, you know, houses that are older needing to be renovated, provided it's got a nice dock?
Yeah.
I've definitely had buyers like do the exact same thing because the whole point of, you know, getting a lot on the lake is just to have access to that big wide open water.
And here, if it doesn't have a dock already, you are going to jump through hoops because of all of the requirements that are, you know, you have to go through in order to have the right shoreline, the depth, the proximity to the other docks, you know, all of that. If it doesn't already have a dock, you might not get one. And that's the value in a luxury property.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I was looking at some of the statistics and numbers, looking at like closed sales. And so, you know, recently there was a home that closed for $11.5 million. I know that we've got some that are on the market now between 10 and 15 million. And it's wild to me because I feel like it was just a few years ago that, you know, the premium cap was, you know, that 4 to 5 million of where it's now gone and continues to go. You know, it's with attracting people here and in this luxury market, you know, we've got the proximity. We're only 30 minutes to Charlotte. You're 30 minutes to a major airport. So it's really attractive if you don't want the hustle and bustle of living you know, in Charlotte, living in a major city, to kind of have this nice, relaxing and luxurious
and that's part
way of living.
All of that you just talked about it encompasses luxury, and that's what people want. So we're going to go take a look at something very luxurious.
Yes.
So hang tight and we'll be right back. So here we are, we're on the dock at this beautiful property, and this is what it's all about. This is luxury, right, Mary?
This is my favorite part of every waterfront listing is the dock and the water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, this is what you come here for. This is why you moved to Lake Norman, is for all this beautiful water, getting on the lake, you know, paddle boarding, boating, jet skis, all the stuff, right?
It encompasses luxury. It's just beautiful. One way or the other, this is luxury living.
Yes, it is.
It truly is. I mean, look at it. I could stay here all day. But, you know, talking about that, one thing that's very important for a seller to consider when they are getting ready to list their house on Lake Norman is the dock, because that's why buyers come. They want to see the dock. They want to see the water.
100%.
Would you agree that, you know, if you have a property that might need some updates and it's on the water, you know, every buyer, every seller wants to get the most for their money. Would you say that updating the dock would probably be in the top few things?
Yes, 100%. I without a doubt, you know, I've had clients, you know, and waterfront listings where, you know, you're getting ready to get the house, you know, put it on the market, and how do you update the house? Where do you get the biggest bang for your buck? If you live on the waterfront, absolutely the dock. And so making improvements, you know, with the dock, making sure that you don't have rotten wood, the Trex boards like this beautiful deck has, you know, that's at lower maintenance, are all good and great things. You know, just, that's just so important with these luxury listings.
I agree. And sometimes the dock, you know, the last thing a buyer wants is to have to go through a year and a half of a process to put the applications in to Duke Lake Services and go through, you know, a process that they might not be aware of because they might be a new lakefront living owner. So having that already checked, that box checked, I think presents a lot of value in advertising, you know, a waterfront listing if that dock is done. But I mean, it's just, this one is gorgeous. It is beautiful out here on the lake. You've got a beautiful property that just
it is gorgeous.
It's a perfect example of luxury. What else do you think would be something, whether it's a property that needs updating or turnkey like this one, that you would say buyers are looking for in a luxury property?
Well, so, you know, aside from, you know, just the dock, I mean, definitely a cover dock, you know, is going to have some nice attributes, you know, in the back of the house, having great outdoor living space, you know, outdoor kitchen, you know, North Carolina, it gets hot and humid during the summertime. So having an area that has, you know, ceiling fans to get, you know, move those pesky mosquitoes out of the way. So having all of that is important. But with that, though, when you buy that waterfront lot, it's really important to know where all the setbacks are, you know, where the contour lines for the lake, the water contour lines, because it can really impact, you know, what you can build, what you can renovate on the lot. And I've had clients, you know, see a lot might be 2 acres and they're like, wow, I can build
whatever I want.
My mega mansion on that lot. And in fact, you know, once you get into the setbacks, once you have clarity on the 760 contour lines, you know, of those impacts, it can definitely have an impact on the size of project that you want, including the size of outdoor space where your swimming pool goes. I mean, I think that's another important feature aside from your dock is also your swimming pool and what's the space, you know, that you have available for that pool.
Yeah, I mean, whatever your opinion of luxury is to you, it's important to have someone that knows the property, that knows what the requirements are, and, you know, that can help build your luxury property and make it what you want it to be. And this property certainly it's a beautiful property. And we really appreciate Grandfathered Homes for letting us come and film here. And this property is available. Look at it. Who doesn't want this property?
I know,
it's
stunning.
Unbelievable. So, you know, give us a call and we can give you
Set
more
you up with a
information.
private showing.
Yeah.
There it is.
See you next time, guys.